Welcome to End of One Studio. If you found this video entertaining or helpful and think that others might like it as well, then help me appease the algorithm gods and hit like, subscribe, and or make a comment. Thank you and enjoy. Today we're going to be taking a look at what is by far my most favorite model in the entire Horns of Hashut set. This charging Demolisher has just so much dynamic movement to it that I kind of want to spend some time and bring them to life. As you can see, I've already primed them black and included a dry brush of gray and then right over that white. We're going to be mainly using Speedpaint 2.0, but I will also be using some acrylics. The ones that I do have are from Vallejo, and those are mainly my metallics. We're going to start by blocking in the model, and to do this we apply a base coat over the chest protector, the tabard, the belt, and the bracers. And for this particular task, what we're going to use is Slaughter Red and Speedpaint Medium at a 1-to-1 mixture. We're really going to utilize Speedpaint's, well, speediness at this point, and really go through this portion pretty quickly. As you can see, I'm jump cutting here, but it really takes me no time at all to spread that paint around. Just keep that paint moving, reload your brush as needed, and get that paint onto the model as quickly as possible. But quickly doesn't mean sloppy, so do take care when you're spreading it over. Now, the more that we apply the base coats throughout the model, you'll really get to see how that slap chop treatment that was done earlier during the undercoating phase really plays out, because it's almost having a built-in highlighting system and a built-in wash system with the speed paints. So it's almost like a 1-2 combination punch. This technique does a lot of heavy lifting and it allows you to significantly cut down on your painting time. With that portion blocked in, we're gonna move onwards now to the next portion of our blocking in, and that is all of the flesh or skin tones throughout this model. He's got a lot of exposed skin, and those really need to be addressed. But they are in some tight spots, so do take care, because skin tone, as you know, is one of the most important things on any mini. We're going to be using Crusader skin and Speedpaint Medium in a 1-to-1 ratio. Now, in my opinion, the 3 hardest things to paint on a mini are faces, eyes, and delicate skin. By delicate, I don't mean like dainty, but I mean like, silky smooth and realistic. Fortunately, Speedpaints 2.0 has a variety of flesh tones, everywhere from warrior skin to crusader skin. Peachy flesh is in there as well. I have a tutorial out on dark complexion, so if you want to paint the mini up with a darker complexion, maybe take a look at that one. For this one, I kind of wanted to give this guy a more of a lighter skin tone, but at the same time, he's out in the battlefield, out in the sun. I kind of want to give him that almost Conan the Barbarian or Barbarian vibe, and that's why I use Crusader skin. And then I'm just going to layer that up to the point where I'm kind of satisfied with where it is. At about this point, it looks pretty good to me, and so we're going to move on to the next portion, which is the blacks. This is mainly going to be on his shoes, as well as a bit of cloth on his waist area. I still do add some speed paint medium to this. I highly recommend doing that whenever you use speed paints for the most part. I mean, like 80% of the time, because it allows you a degree of control over the shade or tint. You could always go darker, as I say, but it's a little tough to bring that color down lighter easily. That is, there's different ways to do it, but I mean, when you're doing a speed paint style technique, you kind of want to have at least maintain a modicum of control with regards to tone and value. With the black completed, we're going to move on to the other portions that need to be blocked in, which is the metallics, and that is where we use broadsword silver, Speed paint medium, 1:1 ratio. We're going to use that on his armor, the chains, the weapons, the trim around his breastplate, as well as his bracers. Now, if you have never used speed paints before, you're gonna notice that broadside silver kind of looks like a shiny gray. And that's great for me and my painting style because I usually tone down the values of that shininess anyways using a dark tone. And using it this way allows me once again to have a more grim look to that armor. I could always pump up the shininess by doing some highlights, which we'll actually do a bit later. But for now, this portion of the paint is complete. Next up, we're going to address those tusks or horns on the side of the shoulders, and we're going to use that with skeleton bone and a Warpaint mixing medium. 1:1 ratio is what I like to start off with. I could always dilute it if I need be. With that completed, we're going to move on to the brass portions of the Demolisher's armor, which include the crown of that skull helmet, the faces on his weapons, as well as those ash bombs. And we're going to do that by using Crusader Skin and Hoplite Gold. First, we apply Crusader Skin to those areas. Right now, I'm starting with the ash bombs, the little icon on his back, and finally the crown on the helmet. Stands are great, but sometimes it's more useful and more efficient to just pluck them off and your models off, and so that you could access things that are facing down. In this case, it's the faces on the mauls or the beating sticks of this Demolisher. We're gonna do the same thing and add Crusader Skin to it. Now with the Crusader Skin all in there, providing us with a great undercoat, we're gonna move now to applying the metallic portion of this paint, and that is to add Hoplite Gold onto those areas. And what that does is it allows us to set the base for a really good bronze effect. If you don't have a favorite bronze color that you use, this is a great technique to achieve that. At this point, we've completed blocking in our miniature here. All areas are pretty much covered with paint. Now we could move on to adding our washes. I'm going to start off with using the red tone from RB Painter onto all the places where we put in Slaughter Red. This really gives it a really deep, vibrant, almost blood-like effect, which kind of adds to our chaos theme here. Then we're going to add flesh wash to, well, you guessed it, all the flesh colored areas. Arms, torso, don't forget the little bits of leg. With that completed, I'm going to use mid-brown. And we're going to use mid-brown to really punch in that bronze effect on all our metallic, shiny gold metallic areas. Next up, we're going to be using a strong tone, and we're going to use this just for the tusks, so we could get some nice definition and darker color in there. now that the washes are complete, we're going to move on to a little bit of housekeeping. We're going to do some corrections on some overpaints on some on areas. Mainly silver is going to be applied here to the chains where some of that slaughter red was on there, as well as I'm going to try to get a deeper shade of black on these boots, as well as the kind of like the interior pants or cloth there. And then finally I'm going to hit a little bit of white into the flesh areas here, as well as the back boot. You see where the dry brushing of the white didn't initially get on there, so it's a bit too dark for my liking. And yeah, my goal here is to correct that. Just apply a bit of white or off-white, and then we could go over it again with the Crusader skin and apply another wash to it. So yeah, we're gonna take this opportunity, apply some correction colors there. And there we have it. After a little application of Crusader skin and flesh wash into those whitened out areas, and a little bit of dark tone wash on the metal, we have ourselves here a completed Demolisher, which is, for me anyway, what I was looking for. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and if you feel like it, leave a comment.